Okay, I got one of these P0301 errors before I found the error code. This vehicle was, I was coming back home from Colorado to Texas. I was about a quarter of the way on my way, and the vehicle just started hesitating and jerking, and not to the point that I couldn't drive it, but it was hiccuping. There was definitely something wrong. So I do have a code reader, and I ended up with the P0301 error, which means that there's a cylinder misfire. And in the case of this vehicle, it's a 4-cylinder. It's in the first cylinder. If it would have been a P0302 error, it would have been in the second cylinder. If it's a P0300, then that means it's an intermittent problem in one or all of the cylinders, a random cylinder, in which case that's kind of a bigger problem, a more complex problem. So I ended up going to a small Jeep dealer in Colorado, and he wanted to keep me overnight. He said that he was going to have to diagnose it and do all kinds of things, and it sounded like it was more complex than it should have been. And he said, maybe you can drive it home, maybe you won't cause any damage to your vehicle, maybe not, kind of thing. That's what they do. But I took the rest of the trip, the 700 miles. I mean, it wasn't a violent jerk, it was just a noticeable hiccuping all the way back home to Texas. So I took the chance. I don't think I did any permanent damage. And either way, I doubt they would have had the part that I needed. And the part that I needed is a ignition coil. And I was actually lucky that the O'Reilly's in town had an extra one of these. I checked all around the area and they didn't have any. So the only difficult part about this job is getting the part. If you need it right away, you may not have it at your local auto parts stores, or you might get lucky like I did. The good news is, on these 4-cylinder Cherokees KLs, it's a pretty easy job. On the 6, it's a little more difficult from what I understand, because the cylinders are more hidden, or there's a lot of stuff in the way that you got to remove. In my case, the good thing about having a 4-cylinder, take this baby off. This can be removed or set aside. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you got the P0301, 2, 3, or 4 error, this is going to be a pretty simple job if it's the same problem that I had. So the coil looks like this. You need a 10mm socket for that, and this guy is going to pop off. So before I take this off, there is a connection here.
How does this thing go again? It's been a while since I did this job.
This gets pulled back, and then this will come off. Now you can take this bolt off. It's just the one. Don't lose that. And now this just pops out. This is the new one. This is the old one. And there's nothing I can visually see that is an obvious problem with it. What I ended up doing first was changing the spark plug, which, if you're ever curious about how to change the spark plugs on these, you're going to need an extension, and they're down in there. I'm not going to pull it out, but that's the old one. And it actually helped the problem a little. but it did not solve the problem. I thought it did at first, and then I started getting the hiccuping down the road, and ended up having to buy one of these. And you just have to push it in so that it's secure. Bolt this baby back in. Get your socket. I'm just going to hand tighten it, you know. Don't try to crush it. Just make sure it's secured and it's not going to unscrew itself. Then this goes back in. You're going to hear it click. And you're good. Here's a closer look at the area here. This is the one I replaced. These are my old ones. And this moves aside. There's a fastener here that goes back in if you have to move that. This fastener, it just pops out. If you have to go on the fourth cylinder or the third, that's got to be pulled out. But then it'll just go back in. Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it. That's really it for this job. You know, the cover fastens to these in case you've never pulled one off. And I guess it's, you know, if you've never done it before, you feel like you're gonna break it, but it just pops right back on. And if you want to pull it off, it pops right off. That's all there is to that, in case you've never had a vehicle with one of these. So if you end up getting the P0301 error, I hope it ends up being as simple as it is for you, and just replacing this ignition coil. And you know, if you research it, you'll find that there's multiple causes for that. This and the spark plug are at the top of the list of the probable causes. So I'm glad there was something easy. This part I think was, I want to say $40. So I think the dealer or, you know, any mechanic would charge, I don't know, 10 times more just for the labor. I think it gets more intense if you have a 6-cylinder. Hope yours is easy as this one if you get the P0301, 2, 3, or 4, and so on error.